the intro music. Yeah! Woohoo!
Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. This video coming out a couple days after the official announcement, but as you know, with the baby and everything, been kind of all over the place. And then we had to get out yesterday's video, which in my opinion was, well, maybe I'm just selfish there, more important than the incursions video. Going over the positives in the game, great things being added was very important to me, so I wanted to get that out. And if you haven't checked it yet, this video from yesterday, going over the things being added to the game, the improvements being added to the game based on your survey, go and check that out. It was yesterday's video, and I'll tag it at the end of this video in the credits. So let's go ahead and jump into talking about what incursions is. Now we're going to go over the news of incursions as well as try to answer some basic questions, but I do want to go ahead and just get this out there. If you have questions about incursions and I can answer them, you can drop them in the comments, because this video will follow our normal 10 to 15 minute format. Thus, I'm not gonna be able to answer every question that you have. And even as content creators and the moderators, we have a bunch of questions out right now for them to answer that we're waiting on. I think there's like a list of 30 questions that have been assembled and presented to the team, waiting on them to get back to us. But with incursions coming up very soon, it's important for us to go ahead and discuss it and talk about what you have to look forward to. So without further ado, it's transition time. That's great. We love transition. So here's the official announcement from the website. I'm just going to read through some of the bullet points, and then we'll start talking about some of the meat of what is going into incursions. So we teased a new feature. We did have this picture get released by Eco. I do appreciate that, by the way. I like teasing and hints, and some people don't. It's whatever. Y'all can wait for it to come out, but I thought that was pretty neat. There's going to be a new event type that, as the name might imply, you're going to be invading other servers. Now, go ahead and note, these are going to be specific servers, not any server. Like, you can't just randomly decide to come invade Rev on server 20 and for events that are actually rolling out, but servers will go against each other in a 1v1 format. During this event, servers are matched based on criteria like age and population. So you're not, and there's also regional in that. So you're not going to have like server 20 going against server 189. An APAC server. You're going to have things that are very close together. You should be similar in power, similar in, everything that you can do as a server. So those all things should match somewhat. Players can relocate their bases to the server they're invading during the duration of the event. Do want to note, going to another server will not cost you a relocation token. There's a special token for this that they will give out during these events. You can source, I think, for free 2 during your incursion session. You can also get more if needed, and the event scores off an entire server's effort. So similar to how those XSLBs run, that's what we're going to have here. Now here's an example graphic. If y'all don't know, server 910 and server 911 do not exist. That's just an example. You can see the token in the top right of your screen that you will need to go through the transfer and the points that you can earn for winning. Now here's and I will admit that there's a lot of things in this that are going to make people very wary, myself included. I've already passed along a lot of things feedback-wise that I'm like, y'all, I'm really worried about what this could be as in terms of potentially being detrimental. So let's talk about it. All players level 25 and above are able to participate in Infinite Incursions. Special events leading up to the incursions are open to players level 10 and above. So we're going to have some basic events for those players to complete, but they will not be the main part of incursions. Now, here's where it gets a little wild. Shielding behavior. During incursions, all P shields are suppressed in systems level 20 or higher. What that means, let's talk about the wording of that, is if you launch, say, a 30-day shield and you have a 1-day incursion event that launches, that shield will be suppressed, not turned off. Will be suppressed, meaning you will not be shielded during the incursion. However, the timer stays so that when the event ends, your shield will naturally resume. Now, if you're worried about that being a bug, and having problems with that, well, go ahead and like this video, because it's one of the main things I heard. I'm like, seems like a great opportunity for shield failures, but we'll see how it goes. We'll see how it goes. Shields will be back up after incursion ends. 10-minute shields do not activate after a station is attacked in the level 20 plus system. So they're doing away with the attack timer. This means, yes, you will be able to invade other servers and raid them and drain their bases if they do not have good shield discipline or have not relocated, because as you'll read here in the next bit, you will be able to still shield in level 19 and below systems. So level 1, level 19. Now there are a ton of these in the game. So there will be enough for every server to relocate their populace there if they want to. I want to point out, and I'll put this on the screen real quick, transition. So if you look at your map, almost everything in independent space is going to fall under that category, like Cause Borealis, Cause Australis, Medea, Wasset, come over here to Midnight, Atrigue. All these are generally going to fall in that, but then you also have all of these systems out here, the starter systems, the level 1s and 5s and 2s. All of these are hubs that allow you to relocate your base to, that you still will be able to use your shields. So if you don't want to participate, they decided to go with an opt-out option, not an opt-in option, because they wanted to get participation and not have players who did want to participate have nothing to do. So you do have that. Players can move between 20 plus and level 19s or 19 subtracted systems, normally using relocation tokens, but the above shielding rules apply as their station enters a new system. So if you relocate during an incursion to a level 25 plus system, your shield will not be active. Shields will be turned off for that. Or for invading servers, players can spend incursion conduits, source to events and offers, to invade an opposing server. Upon invading, players are placed in the exact same position slot or same station slot as they occupied in their home server, excluding territory systems. Should that slot be filled, they are placed in the next available slot in that system or another location should all slots be filled. Invading players can spend normal relocation tokens to move between systems after invading. Now, real quick, questions you might have about chat and how all that works. We're waiting on responses for them. Now, also want to add a couple of little just answer your questions. I know there's some basic questions many of you had. You will be able to determine who is invaded into your system. They will have a special color ring around their ship. You will be able to easily identify an invader into your server. Also want to point out that this is not going to be something that is like a 30-day event. These are going to be very short events with very small time frames to allow people to attack and invade, break, and then the other server can do the exact opposite. So it's not going to be just everybody, well, we all left and went to other servers at the same time. There's going to be a setup to allow one server to invade, time frame, out, another server to invade. Now, if they do not naturally leave, like they do not intentionally leave that server that they've invaded, you will be pulled back automatically at the end of the timer. So if you had, say, a few hours or 6, 8 hours, however long the event's going to last, and you jumped into that territory, or I'm sorry, not territory, you jumped into these other servers. So let's just say I'm going to pull numbers out my butt. I'm not saying these are matching. Say my server 20 and server 17. I am not saying those two are going to war with each other and that they're part of it. Just using examples. So if I went to server 17, as soon as the event rolled out, I would be pulled back automatically to my original server. This is not going to be a way for you to transfer servers or stay there indefinitely. However, you will be able to interact with those people on the new server and waiting on answers for specific things. When it comes to, how are the tags going to work in terms of alliances, private messaging, etc. We're going to give you that information on my Discord when it launches. Obviously, this is a feature coming very soon to the game, so we're going to have all that answers very soon. But to get ready for it, be prepared for what is coming. The first incursion event is going to be not this weekend, but next weekend. And what I mean by that is I'm putting this out on the 1st of July. The 9th of July is the first incursion event from what the dev team has told us and released. So something to be mindful of. Do want to also point out that when incursion events roll out, the game will be giving away one-day shields. They are going to try to make it to where as many people who do not want to participate as possible don't have to. Now, I do think there are some flaws in the logic. And what I mean by that is, if we go back to our regular stream, one thing I want to point out, this is something that in the conversation that we were having with the devs that Ultimate DJ brought up and others have brought up, is that you look, say, hey, Hollis is where we would go to maybe mine some 4-star gas. This is all going to be an open PvP system. Everything 25 or level 20 plus is going to be a PvP area where people score, because this is designed for this first iteration to be a PvP event. There will also be other style of events. So that means that if I'm just out doing my dailies, I'm a target actively. And this is going to be strange for people to hear Rev say, because I have been an ardent anti-rogue guy. I don't like controlling players and what they're forced to do. But I do believe that some servers have set up rows that they feel strongly on, rules they feel strongly on. Well, those rules will not apply in these. Now, I do have to reiterate this point. These events are not designed to last like 7 days or 30 days. So this is not a long, week-long purge where your row means nothing and your whole server gets destroyed. But there will be short time slots and short temporary events where You're going to have to be a little bit more like Rev Deuce. You're going to have to be wanting to PvP, accepting PvP, or step back and take a break and set up your shield that they will give you. They will give you the ability to not get raided, to not have to deal with those things. That is going to be up to you. It doesn't mean that they're not going to make improvements in the future. They were very clear that they're open to feedback on this, but because it's such a massive undertaking and a brand new feature, there are always going to be things that don't work well or don't work in a way that the fans of the game are happy with. And that's just something that they understand and know. And there's something that you've got to try some things to figure out if they're going to work. So right now, you're gonna have a lot of PvP oriented. For those asking, when it comes to level brackets, no changes. So yes, you're definitely going to have those mega whales coming through with their Enterprise Ds and their Sancti and their Vorcha, and they're going to score points against you. Now, one thing that I am pushing for future iterations of this is to have level bracketing and maybe even talk about adjusting PvP brackets if we're getting to the point where we're doing incursions and server versus server wars. That is something that the dev team have said. Old Man was actually in the official Discord here recently and said that PvP brackets is something they're going to be looking at, especially with these type of events coming into the game. You know, normally if you're on a server, I am not a big fan of brackets. But when you have new players and the potential for new toxicity to invade and purposely just be a jerk, because I'll admit, while I'm a pirate and a PvPer, I don't go around hitting UPC miners. Well, that's probably what you're going to have on a lot of this PvP event. I don't like that. I don't think it's conducive to good gameplay. I don't think it makes happy players. So it's something I'm worried about. So I do think that for these things, we need to start looking into that and give it an incentive base to run. There's no reason that level 60 should be coming and hitting my level 42 miner. They should be fighting somebody of their equal strength for this event. So events, I think, need to have a level bracket where level 60s are scoring their most points against people 50 plus. And for me in the 40s, I should get almost no points or no points at all if I go blow up a level 28 player. I think that's something they should consider, but these are all things being discussed. Right now, it is going to open up as the baseline of what you're reading. Now, also, I know people have asked, what about territory? Well, they cannot capture your territory. So if a server invades, even during a territory takeover, let's say one was active, they cannot score points, nor can they steal it from you. However, they can PvP in the territory while it's happening. Also want to point out that territory will not allow shields to work. Eco confirmed that a couple days ago. So territory is also going to be an area where you're probably going to stay away from unless your alliance is very active, able to defend and prevent raiding. Territory might be one of the very few places that doesn't have shields that is safer, depending on how your alliance has things laid out, but that is something that you want to take into account. The safest place to be will be the level 1 through 19 systems in independent space. It's the only way to really avoid incursions, but you're still going to have to worry about completing your battle pass, completing your dailies, and it's going to be really interesting to see how this all meshes together. There are some good elements to this. I do love the idea of incursions. We'll see how the actual implementation rolls out. I always want to give something a chance before knocking it. I have already provided my thoughts to them in terms of things I'm worried about in the beginning, but for now, this is how it is going to roll out. And hopefully I've answered most of your base questions. Like I said, there are a ton of questions here for this and how it's going to potentially work. And I'm trying to get to as many as I can. But as always, if you have specific questions about this that I have the answer to, drop them in the comment section below. This will be coming very soon. We'll see how it works out. Live long and prosper. Stay safe with those space cowboys. Deuces, that's me. I'll catch you on the next video. Thanks as always for supporting me and the family and the channel. And hope you have a great day. Happy Canada Day, by the way.
An even better outro than the intro. For the Empire and glory to your house.